Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Business Idioms webinar. Welcome. I'm really happy to have you here. You should be muted as you come in the class, but if you don't, can you make sure you mute the mute while I'm talking? If at any time you have some questions, just raise your hand, and at the right opportunities, I will stop and would love to have some questions from you. The session is being recorded. If you've registered on the LinkedIn event page, I'll be sending a message to everyone with a link to the recording. Please ask any questions if you can, and I'm hoping that some of you will participate in the session as we go. You can also type in the chat box. So let's have some fun. It's not going to be that long, probably only half an hour. So I believe in quality over quantity, so I'll rather do a few and do them well, and hopefully you will take these idioms and use them so that you can practice. It's all about what you can use and not about just putting things in your head, right? Right. So this webinar is about business idioms, how to remember them, and just a few examples today to get you on your way. If this is popular and you like it, I will do some more in another webinar. Right. So let's have a look. So why learn idioms, right? They don't make sense. So first of all, they're a way to give you a new creative way to express yourself, all right? So instead of just the boring old words that we use all the time, it makes your language interesting, okay? A lot of the time the idioms are humorous, which means funny, means make you laugh, right? So it enables you to express yourself in a more genuine way, and it can show off your personality, right? English people use them all the time. Okay, and this is the most important one. Understanding idioms can boost your conversational English skills, okay? Because idioms are phrases that don't always make sense if you just translate the words. So if you can understand them, you're more likely to understand what people are saying. Native speakers use them all the time, and I don't even think half the time they know their idioms. They're just a natural part of our speech. Okay, so and also it shows native speakers that you understand the cultural meaning and the context behind the idiom that you're using. Okay, and it can help you feel comfortable and confident with your conversational abilities, right? So the more you practice them, the more comfortable you will become with them, and then the more natural you will sound, okay? And don't always start off with difficult ones. Find some that are that you feel comfortable with and happy with, and just use them, okay? And as you get more comfortable using them, you will be able to start using more difficult ones. For example, one of the ones we're doing today is just tweak, okay? And we'll go into that a bit later on. Okay, so this is the method we'll use today in this webinar. Okay, so we're going to we'll look at an example of the idiom in context, right? So in a sentence. Then we're going to guess the meaning of the idiom. And then we're going to study the meaning. And then we're going to make your own sentence using it in your own context. So think about how and when you could say these things. Okay. And so hopefully some of you will be able to tell me your sentences, and then I can help you to check that you have the right understanding of it. Okay. So you can get lists. This is a list I've made, and I'll tell you about it later on. So there's always an example sentence. That's the place you start. Okay. Try and think about the meaning, then look at the meaning, and then make your own sample sentence from there. So why do I recommend this method? So it's important for you to figure out the meanings of the idioms from the context. Okay, so just learning a set of words and what it means, it's not going to stay with you. You know, it's no good. You need to kind of see it happening in a sentence. Okay, and then what's happening when you do this is you're thinking about this expression. So it's not just something you've read and like, oh, that means that, and then it's gone, because it's not going to stay. Okay, so this is the part that's going to help you remember. You have to spend time with the word, with the idiom. Okay, and as soon as you understand it, you'll remember it. Yeah, and faster. And it's good if you guess it wrong, because then you'll have to go through this whole process of why was it wrong? Oh, I thought it was this, it meant that. Oh, but it really means that. And that is spending more time with the word, with the words, with the idiom. Okay. And then you will more likely to remember it. So you will probably remember the ones you get wrong more than the ones you get right. Okay, and that goes with anything that learning, especially English language learning. Okay, so to recap on this, why these 3 steps? Learning it in context helps you understand it. So learning it from a sentence, it helps you think actively about the idiom, and it means you are processing it in your brain for longer. Okay, and you'll understand it faster and you will remember. Okay, so let's look at some idioms. I only have 3 for us today, but I'm hoping that we can have some discussion and some questions. So get ready. So here is our first one in context. Okay. We showed the president 20 ideas for new products, but she didn't like any of them. So we had to go back to the drawing board. Now, what does it mean they had to ask other people for advice? Start again from the beginning? Or reuse a good idea from the past? Anybody like to put in the chat box? Anybody want to guess? Be good. Be good. Yeah, well done. Yeah, you're right. Start again from the beginning. Okay. So let's look at the origins of this. Where did this come from? So when architects, designers, engineers, everything starts with a drawing board. Yes, everything starts with a drawing. well, not everything, but we have to plan, right? So it's all about the planning. So before you do anything, you have to make a plan. So the saying comes from this. So go back to the planning stage, yeah, and start again at step 1 of a process. Okay. So yeah, you see it a lot. Here's some examples to help you remember. So I'm sure some of you have been here when you've worked all weekend to complete a project, and then your client or your boss or somebody changes the brief. It's back to the drawing board. You're like, oh, it's back to the drawing board. So the next idiom we're going to look at is way off the mark. Okay, so here's a sample sentence. Our sales estimates were way off the mark. We projected sales of 15 million, but the actual numbers were closer to 9 million. Right. Does it mean we were too optimistic? So optimistic means we're looking too positively at it, higher than average, or very wrong or inaccurate. So in the chats, what do you think? A, B, or C? Ah, good. C. I've given it away by saying good, haven't I? So the answer is very wrong or inaccurate. Okay. So this idiom comes from archery, which is shooting the arrows. Yes, the arrows. And when they do not hit what you're aiming for, yeah, it's said to be off the mark. Okay, so the arrow was off the mark, off where he wanted it to be. Okay, now this is interesting. Is the use of the word way. So in this situation, way means very. So way off the mark means very inaccurate. Now this is very common to use way. We can use other ones, and we'll look at some sample sentences now to see which other ones we use. But this is a good collocation. Now, a collocation is just words that we say together. So we say way off the mark and not really very off the mark. Okay. But there are others, but not very. We don't use very off the mark. Okay, so let's look at some samples. His comments were off the mark. So in this sentence, they haven't used the word way. So recent studies have proven his theories wrong. So, his comments were inaccurate. Yeah. The next one, the weather was completely off the mark. So we can use the word completely instead of way. Yeah. Our social media campaign was way off the mark. So it's the most common way, right? And we upset a lot of our customers. That statement is way off the mark. So again, we use way off the mark. Yeah. And we have the facts to prove it. What should we do since the figures are so off the mark? So this doesn't mean very. Yeah, it does mean very. In the context of we were, very inaccurate about our figures. And I think that this would be a term used a lot for budgeting and forecasting. Yeah, to be off the mark. Okay, right. Now this next one is idiom is tweak. Now let's have a look at the sentence. The text for the article is almost perfect. I just want to tweak 1 or 2 sentences. Does it mean remove? Does it mean make small adjustments? Or make longer? What do you think? Answers in the chat. Okay. Correct. Well done. So it means make small adjustments. Okay, so tweak, I'm going to show you. Like in the, we also use it, it's like pinch. So I'm going to tweak my cheek. Tweak. It's like a small little touch. Yeah. Tweak. To make to make small adjustments. Yeah. So it's not when there's a big change, just small little things. Yeah. So it's not going to, it's not really going to change what it is that's being done. So the interesting thing about this is that it can be used either as a noun or as a verb. So you can say, I want to tweak 1 or 2 things. Yeah. Or you say, I want to make a few tweaks, to talk about minor adjustments. Okay. Minor, small. Yeah. And notice the collocation here. We make a few tweaks. Yeah. We don't do a few tweaks. We make a few tweaks. Yeah. So that's just what we say. Right, let's look at some example sentences. We certainly support her final tweaks of the text in the 3 amendments that she has put forward. So small little things she did in her amendments, not major changes. Yeah. Other changes included better brakes and minor styling tweaks. This is about a car, such as chrome bumpers instead of aluminium ones used in the earlier car. So they haven't changed the bumper, they just changed the material. It's a small little change. Yeah. 2 tweaks were made to the qualification categories for 2011. So just little things for the categories. Okay. Other new features include a new user interface and various tweaks. So that tells you it's not a big change. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the final point of this is idioms and phrasal verbs are necessary for you to sound natural in English. Okay. It's just, we use them all the time. As I said before, we don't even know that we're using them. When I started teaching, many phrases that I said I didn't realize were idioms. They were just things that I said. Yeah. So you need to spend time learning and practicing idioms. And I'm going to throw in here phrasal verbs because they fall in the same category. Okay. Native speakers use phrasal verbs all the time. Okay. It's how we speak. We use phrasal verbs more than we would use the real direct translation of those. And you need to spend time with it. So you need to read the sentences, think about it, process it, and make sure that you understand it. And then you need to go and use them. Okay? Because if you don't use them, you haven't learned them. Okay? It's not until you've used something that you can own it and say, well, yes, now I know. Now, as a thank you for attending this webinar, I want to help you further. And I have compiled a special gift for you that you can have this evening for free. Okay, so I've compiled 3 documents. Okay, 2 of them are books. One is Business and Accounting Idioms. One is Business and Accounting Phrasal Verbs. And the third one is a Word document that's a quiz to help you with the phrasal verbs. Okay, so they basically look like this. They're an online book, and you can so I just need to move this, and you can view them online like this, turn the pages, or you can click on this little thing here and download it as a PDF document and print it. Okay, so this is kind of what the inside of the idiom book is. This is the inside of the phrasal verb book, and this is how the quiz looks. It's just a sort of questions where you put in the phrasal verb here, just part of the phrasal verb, and the answers are at the end so that you can check. So again, do them and then check. And it's okay to be wrong, because you will remember the correct one more easily than if you just got it right by guessing. Okay, so if you want this bundle, okay, this is the address. I'm going to put it in the chat. If you just give me a minute to get the link, I'll put it in the chat for you. Okay, it's in the chat right now. So you're welcome to go there. Just opt in, and you'll get all of those documents to download, and then you've got as many as you want. Go through them, find the ones that you like and that you think, oh yeah, I'd like to be able to use that one, and then use it. Okay, I will also put the link. If you go to the LinkedIn event page, I will, if you go to the bit that says about, I'll put the link in the about section for you as well. But grab it here now if you can. Yeah, right. So are there any questions? Anybody like to ask me any questions? Any idioms that you'd like me to do maybe next time? Then nobody have any questions? Your opportunity. You can ask me anything. Doesn't have to do with the idioms. If there's something that's confusing you about English, now's your opportunity. No questions. Yes, some feedback would be nice. Was it interesting? Were the idioms too easy for you? Should I have chosen more difficult ones? Maybe next time I'll choose more difficult ones. We'll see. Next time I'll probably do for some phrasal verbs. But if there's anything, I'm planning on doing webinars every 2 weeks. Short ones like this, right? Not long, because we're all busy and there's other things that we want to do with our lives. So the challenge is to use them. Absolutely. So please, if you find yourself in a situation where you want to use them and you suddenly think, oh no, I'm not sure, message me on LinkedIn and ask me. Okay, I'll be more than happy. Or if you said it and you're not sure, message me, say, oh, Anne, I said this, is it right? Yeah. And rather do it and use them. Don't wait till it's perfect. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong. If you get it wrong, someone will explain to you and you'll learn. That's the thing about English, is to be brave enough to be wrong, because that is the best way to learn. My clients always think I'm crazy when I say, yes, I'm so happy you got that wrong. Because I know when I explain to them, they'll be like, oh, no, I know. And no, I should have remembered that. Whatever. And you're thinking about it and you make yourself remember more strongly, if I can say it in any other way. Okay, so no questions? Yeah, please message me anytime if you found yourself in a situation and wanted to use it, or used it and then thought you were wrong. Write down the sentence, message me. Okay? Right, so thank you so much for attending the webinar. I hope you found it helpful. Please give me feedback if it was too easy, too boring, because I want to do these. I want to do these every 2 weeks. Not always idioms and phrasal verbs, but different things. Probably mostly idioms and phrasal verbs, because yes. Okay, thank you. Some economic idioms. Yes. You will probably find quite a few in that list, in the book, if you go to the link. Yeah. But I will keep that in mind and see what I can do for next time. Thank you, Georgiana. Right. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending. Everyone that's registered on the LinkedIn event will be sent a message with a link to the recording as soon as I've looked at it and checked it's okay. So it was fantastic to meet you. Hopefully I'll see you in the next group, in the next webinar, probably in about 2 weeks' time. Okay, so make sure you follow me on LinkedIn so that you can get my notifications. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for the feedback, and I hope to see you here again soon. Bye-bye.